Of the 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup will be live on Fox, FS1, and streaming on the Fox Sports app.
Let's go, ladies.
Let's go, ladies. Back here on First Things First, Undisputed coming up at 9:30 sharp. Jen Hale is in for Jenny Taft this morning. Jen, talk about the show today. What do you guys have on?
Happy Friday, Jenna. A big show on Undisputed. First, will the return of Klay Thompson spark the Warriors and trigger a big win tonight? Plus, Carson Wentz got paid. Did he deserve all that guaranteed cash? And we've got Kendrick Perkins and Chris Broussard in studio with us. Undisputed coming up next, Jenna.
All right, Jen, thanks.
Thanks, Jen. And tell Perk you still got to run me my money. Perk, oh, you know what? You're going to. I am not in the week like this.
Back to the NBA Finals. Kevin Durant remains on the sideline, ruled out for Game 4, but Steve Kerr says there's a good chance he comes back and plays in Game 5. And after missing Game 3, Klay Thompson is a go for tonight as the Warriors try and even the series up with 2 games apiece. Nick, is tonight a must-win for Golden State?
Absolutely, and I expect them to deliver. This is where Golden State shows their championship medal. Backs truly up against the wall, the likes of which we have not seen, in my mind, their backs against the wall since Games 6 and 7 of last year's Western Conference Finals. We have seen this team in this 5-year run play what I would consider, I think they've had 7 gotta-have-it games. The 3 straight against OKC when they were down 3-1. Those are obviously gotta-have-it games. They won all those. The 2 last year against Houston, they won those. I would argue this year, Game 6 against Houston, after KD went down, was a gotta-have-it game. They won that one, and the only one they haven't was the epic Game 7 against LeBron and the Cavs in 2016. This is a gotta-have-it game for the Golden State Warriors. The dynasty is maybe, they are already a dynasty, but if they lose, the dynasty ends tonight, and then we'll see if they can give it more life next season. But they cannot come back from 3-1 down against a team as good as Toronto. They cannot come back from 3-1 down when we don't know if Kevin Durant's going to play again this series. And if he does, I don't think anyone at this table thinks it will be Game 5, Game 6 at the earliest, and then it's a lesser Kevin Durant. What they need tonight is the first full-fledged Warrior game they would have had since Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Each of the last 6 games, they've trailed by double digits at some point in the game. They haven't had a dominant performance in a couple weeks now. That's what they need tonight, and that's what I personally expect we're going to get tonight. Maybe not dominant in that you blow out Toronto. Toronto's too good for that.
Yeah.
But dominant in that they don't find themselves down 15 and have to claw back. They take advantage of the home crowd. They take advantage of whatever Klay can give them, Steph being the best player on the court, and they win a must-win, to me, tonight.
You talked about all those must-win situations. They all had a constant theme to them. Golden State, at that time, was a better basketball team than all of them. You can go back through them. Line them up. Houston. Oh, yeah, Golden State was better than them. Even the team LeBron beat them. Golden State was better than that team. They put together a ridiculous effort to be able to come back in that series, but they were better than that team. OKC, stop. They were so much better. This is the only time in this 5-year dynasty run that the team is better than them, and that's Toronto. They will not have KD, so we don't have to evaluate, is Golden State a better team than Toronto with KD? That's not the question, all right? This Toronto Raptors team, if we were being honest, based on coming from the Houston series and what we saw in Portland, where every game Portland had a double-digit lead. You don't have a double-digit lead on great teams. This has not been a great team. Like, we are looking at all the other years. We're just giving them credit. Oh, man, they did this. That other team did that, not this team. Every dynasty is ended by a better team. And now we have a series, and where the Toronto Raptors are the first team to have home court advantage since those Houston Rockets. They will take advantage of it. They have done what you have to do in the series. They have won on the visiting court. They are the healthiest team. They've played 12 quarters of basketball, and in 10 of those quarters, the Toronto Raptors have outscored. So I don't know what other measurable. All the people that think the Warriors are going to win, all they can go on is past history. They can't go on what's happened in this NBA Finals.
But to me, the history is what you can go on in something like this. I got to see the champ knocked out. I have to see them, and no standing 8 count, knocked out. The Warriors now, with Steph, Klay, and Draymond on the court together, they know their season's on the line. They know this era of Warrior basketball potentially could be on the line, because we talk about KD almost a sure thing to leave. They also know that Klay Thompson's a pending free agent. I know the players expect and hope that the Warriors are going to give him a max contract, but you know this as well as anybody, see, that the only time that this exact group of people will ever be together is the last game they play of the season. And I think the Warriors are going to fend off an elimination game at least another night. You're right. The Raptors have dominated this series. You can make the argument, if not for a 5-minute brilliant stretch of basketball by Golden State and 5 minutes where Toronto could not hit a shot and did not call a timeout, that 18-0 run where they didn't call timeout until it was 14-0, then maybe Toronto should be up 3-0. The injuries are an enormous part of this and maybe the story of the series. I just think Golden State will be able to channel some of the greatness that allowed them to come back from 3-1 down against OKC, that allowed them to be the first team to ever win, to ever lose single-digit games in a regular season back in 2016, tonight in Oracle.
Yeah, I just believe that the Raptors are going to be the kind of team that wins a world championship and no one's going to give them any respect. They're going to make every excuse of why Golden State lost. They're not even going to go back into, man, who was the best team in the NBA this year? Oh, it was Milwaukee. If Milwaukee had gotten there, well, they lost 4 straight to Toronto. And at some point, you got to give them credit for the basketball that they're playing. They beat the best team in the NBA this year in Milwaukee. And I know people that were picking Milwaukee to be able to win it all. Where'd those people go?
No, that was
because
me.
It just seems like a normal, oh, if I'm picking this team to beat that team, oh, that team got upset. Well, I would give some. The other team that beat them was the Raptors. That was the second best in the NBA this year.
I can give them, and I've given the Raptors immense credit, but the transitive property of sports is that doesn't exist. It's not A is greater than B and B is greater than C, therefore A is greater than C. Just because Toronto beat Milwaukee and I thought Milwaukee could beat Golden State,
if it was the NFL, I would listen to your argument. It was one game, they got hot, mistakes, turnovers,
sure.
Yeah. But we're talking about a series. And how many times did Milwaukee lose 2 games this year?
They lost back-to-back games prior to the series against the Raptors once.
Okay, so the Raptors did it to them twice.
Back to back. Yeah.
Okay, so I won 4 in a row from them. What about the most important game of the season, game number 1? Oh, that wasn't a must-win for the Warriors after the long layoff. You know the reason why? Because they lost it.
No, it's because game 1 of a series never a must-win. You wouldn't. I'm not redoing the math here. No one would ever call game 1 of a series, especially on the road, a must-win game. Some people wouldn't call game 4 a must-win.
No, game 1 wasn't. But when they lost it, game 2 became a must-win.
And the Warriors did win that one.
Okay, I grant them credit for that. Yep. I just want people to grant me credit for the things that the Raptors have done. If you look at during the regular season, I'll forget who's on the court, Raptors won twice. They played 3 games so far. Raptors have won 2 of those 3. So that's 4 out of 5, 10 out of 12 quarters. What else do they need to do? Oh, they just need to win 2 games. Oh, they happen to have 2 more games on their home court. Did they have a better home court record than Golden State had this year? Yes, of course. So eventually it just becomes overload that ultimately you have to be able to give credit to the team that has earned it. And to me, it's the Toronto Raptors. I can understand. I would grant Golden State the credit you're giving them if Kevon Looney was in the lineup.
Fully healthy. But
he's not. Klay is not going to be himself. And those people thinking he's going to run around, run off 8 picks, play 35 minutes, that's not what's getting ready to happen. It would be a remarkable recovery from 2 days ago where he couldn't play to him playing beyond 30 minutes in tonight's game.
Well, the Warriors have a lot of confidence despite all the injuries and despite trailing in this series. Steve Kerr seems unfazed with where the team is. Let's hear from him yesterday.
It just feels like business as usual, honestly. I hope that doesn't sound arrogant, but the benefit of having been through 5 years of this is we have literally seen everything. You know, we've lost a 3-1 lead in heartbreaking fashion. We've come back from 3-1 down. We've had to win a Game 7 on the road. We've been without Steph Curry for series. We've been without Kevin Durant. We were without Klay last night. Our opponents have been without key players. So you can name it, and we've seen it.
Nick, what do you make of Steve Kerr's confidence?
I think it's the only way he knows how to operate with this team, and I don't think it's a false confidence. Now, there's one thing he said there that is patently not true that I know Chris is going to get into extensively. But as far as this is who the Golden State Warriors have been ever since the owner told them we're light years ahead of you guys. Ever since they were they won a championship, then they had the greatest regular season ever, and then they had a 3-1 comeback on Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, that Oklahoma City team. They obviously didn't win that championship, but then light years kicked in because guess what? We've been plotting to add Kevin Durant since then. They haven't lost. Since then, they haven't lost a game that actually mattered. They've lost games that we thought mattered, but now with the benefit of hindsight, we know, oh, they didn't actually matter because they've won every single series. There are certain teams that operate better from the perspective of nobody believes in us. There are certain teams that operate better from the perspective of nobody can beat us. The Warriors have been operating from the nobody can beat us perspective for almost the entirety of these 5 years. So I get why Kerr is exuding that confidence. But see, there is something he said there that they've experienced that this is actually the first time they're experiencing.
Yeah, and that's the injuries. The injuries have occurred where they were benefiting from all those injuries. So all the things, I don't expect all coaches to get to the podium and tell the truth, and he didn't. This is foreign to him. When was the last time he was without 3 starters in a game? When was the last time he started putting off, oh, maybe my best player, oh, he won't be there. Oh, he might be back. Oh, he might travel with the team. Oh, he might practice. It's never, ever happened. So in this great run that they've been on, yeah, I know they were down 3-1. I mean, up 3-1, they lost that to LeBron, but they still think they were better than that team. Draymond will tell you, if I don't get thrown out, we win. We're going for 5 in a row now. So this is the only team that's actually been better than them. So I just, at some point,